Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's the first opposition uncovered of 3 from now until the new year. I'm starting off with West Ham versus Brighton and Hove Albion, which is taking place on the 27th of December, 2 days after Christmas Day. It's a very hectic time of year for the Premier League because it means games come thick and fast, and the Christmas period is usually a decider for most teams. It's the time of the year that makes or breaks you, and the game against Brighton has a lot more significance given that West Ham have not won the last 2 games. Brighton are one of West Ham's bogey teams, and I don't think West Ham have beaten Brighton in the Premier League yet, which is kind of worrying. Brighton have struggled this season and find themselves 17th in the table with 12 points. They've won 2 games, drawn 6 and lost 6. And their last game was a 1-1 draw against Sheffield United, which they nearly lost but scored within the last 5 minutes to get the point. The thing with Brighton is they're a team that's scraping the barrel every single season to stay in the Premier League. And it's Graham Potter's job to ensure that he is competent to manage in the Premier League. It's a very good sign for him because he's had quite an incredible managerial career. He managed Östersunds in Sweden for 8 years and guided them to 3 promotions to the top flight of Swedish football and then to the Europa League. Went to Swansea in the Championship for 1 season and then joined Brighton. A lot of people doubted him at Brighton to start with, but he's trying to prove them wrong. He's one of those managers that usually plays a 3-5-2 formation, I've noticed, but he went up to 10 different formations when he was with Swansea. He's probably going to mix and match it in this game. The last time the 2 teams met at the London Stadium was in February this year, and it was one of those cases where you could say typical West Ham, given the result. West Ham went 3-1 up. A brace from Robert Snodgrass and Issap Diop scored West Ham's goals, but then Brighton came back and drew. An own goal from Angelo Ogbonna, comical defending which led to the second goal, and then a Glenn Murray goal which gave both teams a share of the points. Brighton's team is mainly made up of Championship players who've risen from the Championship to the Premier League, and other players who were big in other leagues that have come into the club. Some have made an impact, some have not. But it's the Championship signings that have made quite a big difference. And the first player that needs mentioning is Neal Maupay, a Frenchman who used to be teammates with Saïd Benrahma. And those two will be having a little reunion when the game happens, that is for sure. Maupay's taken over as the leading goal scorer for Brighton since Glenn Murray departed. And he's got 4 goals so far this season. He's a player that can either play on the wing or up front. He was a very good player in the Championship for Brentford, one of their highest scorers, and a player that West Ham did target last year or maybe even the year before that. And I'm regretting not getting him now because he's turned into a real gem. He had 9 goals last season for Brighton as well. Brighton bagged themselves a very good defender in Tariq Lamptey. He plays as a right wing back or even a left wing back, and he has got a really big future ahead of him. I watched him for the first time and I thought to myself, wow, how have Chelsea let him go? Because Lamptey is very, very good. He's fast. He's like Masuaku in terms of his skill. He is going to be a bright young player for the future. And I never thought I'd see the day when I say, wow, Brighton have got a real star in the making there. They've got it in Lamptey. He scored his first Premier League goal against Tottenham Hotspur in November, and he's been a regular performer for them since he joined. The third player that I'm going to talk about is Belgian winger Leandro Trossard. Trossard is a very good dribbler. He's also really good in the final third and the way he scores. He also patiently tends to wait from either the centre or the corners of the box to either shoot or assist. When you think about a player who played for both, the one that comes to mind really for Brighton and West Ham fans is striker Bobby Zamora. Zamora started off his career at Bristol Rovers and transferred to Brighton in the year 2000. He was 19 years old at the time. He spent 3 years at what was then the Wivdean Stadium and then transferred over to Tottenham Hotspur for a season, having scored 70 goals in 119 games for the Seagulls. After 1 year at Spurs, he was part of the swap deal which saw him come to West Ham and Jermaine Defoe head the other way. While he was at West Ham, he scored 30 goals in 130 appearances and was quite a good striker in all fairness. He was somebody that linked up well with Dean Ashton, and either that, he was scoring the goals when Dean Ashton was injured, which was unfortunately most of the time. After he left West Ham in 2008, he played for Fulham, QPR, and then he had one more spell at Brighton before retiring in 2016. He also got 2 call-ups to the England national team. West Ham need to win this game if they want to stay in the top half of the table and actually progress. because as the season's going to go on, that gap's going to get tighter down at the bottom. Up top is not the major concern. It's the teams around West Ham. And we can't let those teams below us just pick up the points. We have to beat Brighton. Look at where they are in the table compared to us now. They are still considered a Premier League rival, of course, but they're not really considered a relegation rival at this point in time. If we can get a win out of this game, it'll be the first time we've beaten them in the Premier League. And not only that, it's going to give us confidence going into the new year. And we need that for the run of games coming up. Thanks very much for watching this video. If you liked the video, hit the like button and subscribe for more content. I'm going to have to do the Southampton-Everton previews in quick time as well, and they'll be up before those games.